Come one, come all, and welcome to Tea Time with T-Cross.
Curt Schilling. You overweight, outdated fuckstick. Hall of Famer. One of the greatest pitchers of all time. Arguably the greatest postseason pitcher of all time. You are a huge piece of shit. So this came from, I've talked a lot about Sean Avery as of late. My favorite hockey player of all time. Started a podcast earlier this year, I think. He does one a week. He just hit episode 50. So I think earlier this year. Maybe end of last year, whatever. Started a podcast. Originally was called No Fucks Given, which then turned into No Gruffs Given. And the first number of episodes, he said, like, I won't ever talk politics on this show. And the last, dozen or so, I mean, to be fair, it's hard to not talk politics, but if you say you're not going to talk politics, then don't talk politics, or don't say that. So the last number of episodes is just all politics. Like, he had that gym owner on from New Jersey, that just has racked up $1 million in fines because he won't close down, he won't mandate masks. That fucking scumbag. He had some other dude that I'd never heard of who spent the whole hour bashing millennials. He had the guy on that apparently killed Osama bin Laden. He won't wear a mask either. Sean Avery himself has talked about how he won't wear a mask, and I've just had enough of it, so I stopped listening. Because I love Sean Avery. He's my favorite hockey player of all time, and hearing him talk about this stuff makes me like him a lot less. And I don't want to continue to decline my love for him, especially since I just got his jersey for my birthday. So I stopped listening. So he had Curt Schilling on the other day, and Curt Schilling is a very well-known Republican supporter, big Trump guy, to each their own. But, I mean, on this episode, to be fair to Sean Avery, he started the episode by saying, it's not my job to tell people what they can and can't say. Curt Schilling is a firecracker. I just let him go. I don't necessarily agree with everything he said, but, that's what free speech is all about. So I don't know what part he did and didn't agree with, but constantly throughout the episode, Curt Schilling was saying some shit, and Sean Avery was just like, yeah, no, I hear you, yeah. And I know that's kind of just, a natural response when someone's talking to you to say, yeah, whatever. Sounded like he was agreeing with him, but to each their own, whatever. But he spent a majority, the first half hour, that I couldn't listen anymore, just bashing millennials in my generation. How they're pussies, they're entitled, participation trophies, and that's something that I want to get real specific with, is the participation trophy. The older generation, meaning Curt Schilling's generation, my parents' generation, mid to late 50s, early 60s, something like that, love to talk about how my generation, they're entitled, they are, they expect to be given stuff without working for it. And, the participation trophy, which, by the way, was created by your generation, you fat piece of shit. You sloppy fuck. If a kid is handed a trophy by his father after a game that he just lost, and his father says, it's okay, son, at least you tried. What is a fucking 9-year-old kid supposed to do? Have some fucking crazy mature thought like, oh, I didn't earn this, Dad. He's 9 years old. If his dad is teaching him this is okay, then he's going to grow up thinking that that's normal. So take responsibility for your own generation. I imagine you don't allow your kids to accept participation trophies, as did mine. I don't remember ever accepting one or even being offered one, to be completely honest. So it might even be the generation below me, which a lot of people, when they're talking about millennials, really are talking about Gen Z, because millennials are now 35 years old. I think the millennial generation started in 1985. But anyway, I digress. I am sick and fucking tired of hearing older generations say that kids today are pussies. If we were to get everybody from the generation before me, my parents' generation, and line them up and do a battle royale, a Red Rover type fight, my generation would beat the fuck out of Kurt Schilling's generation. And I would single out Kurt Schilling my fucking self. Bring it on, bitch. I'm sick of it. I'm so fucking over it. You guys don't take any responsibility for your generation. You guys fucked the housing market. And now you want to bitch and moan that kids my age still live with their parents. Yeah, because when you were my age, a house was worth whatever the minimum wage job at the time you could buy. That can't happen nowadays. And that's your fucking fault. Oh no, kids today don't want to work hard. Kids today have 3 fucking jobs just to survive. Fuck yourself, you fat slob. You disgusting pig. I am also a fat slob myself at the moment, but I could still beat the fuck out of Kurt Schilling. And I hated listening to that episode because I love Kurt Schilling. That 2001 Diamondbacks team with Randy Johnson, Craig Counsell. Fuck, I loved that team. Kurt Schilling can go jump off a cliff. I've heard so many people talk about it, but Kurt Schilling was just the straw that broke the camel's back. Fuck that guy. He talks about entitlement, and kids today think they could just get whatever the fuck they want, while simultaneously his generation and people that agree with his level of his point of view think that they can just stop the count of votes because their guy didn't win. No, that's not fair. My guy didn't win. Just because the other guy got more votes? Talk about entitlement, you fucking douche. Jesus Christ. And acting like you wouldn't be doing the exact same thing if the roles were reversed. Let's say Trump won, and the Democrats and the Democratic followers, voters, supporters were all screaming fraud with no evidence. And people inside the Democratic Party were saying there's no evidence. All of Trump's cabinet is saying there's no evidence. Trump's lawyers, other than Giuliani, are saying there's no evidence. And you know what Trump does? He fires them. And you guys eat it up like a fucking dog bowl. It's crazy how people cannot think how they would react if they were in the other situation. You guys would be telling us to shut the fuck up and accept the results just like you did 4 years ago. And acting like you wouldn't, it's bullshit because it just happened 4 years ago, like I just said. I swear to God, Kurt Schilling, if I ever see you, ever, I will open hand slap you in the face and you won't do a goddamn thing about it because you're a pussy. Your generation is a bunch of fucking pussies. You're all fat, disgusting pigs. Fuck. Fucking Kurt Schilling. What a fucking joke. I'm so sick of it. God damn it. I feel like I have so much more to say to that fucking guy, but I literally can't just conjure up a good sentence. Like it pisses me the fuck off. You raised this generation. Your generation invented the participation trophy. And we're at fault for accepting it as 8-year-old kids. Fuck you. Let's get into some other things that grind my gears. People that don't park in parking lots. Now, maybe you guys don't notice it, but I'm in parking lots quite often as an Uber driver. The amount of people I see that just stop at a dead stop in the middle of the driving lane in a parking lot and park their car next to 8, 9, 12 open parking spots, it's astonishing. It happens 3 times a day. Just pulling it, like, you're right there. That's the spot that you're next to. That's what that's for. That's where you're parked right now. That's for driving. You're next to a parking spot. Just turn the wheel and park. I don't get it. People just think that they're the only person in the world. It's fucking shocking. It's unbearable at this point. God, my gooch is itching. All right. Now this one the guys can relate to. Do women not know where the balls are on a man? I mean, do they genuinely either not know where they are or not realize how sensitive they are? I mean, this has happened dozens, maybe hundreds of times over the years where I'm cuddling with a woman. So if I'm laying back, I have my right arm out and they're laying this way, they'll just, if they want to get up, just put their hand right on the balls and just push up. Like, that's a good place to get some leverage to get up. Right on the balls. Or they'll just, instead of wanting to lay like this, they'll put their elbow up right on the balls. And this one has happened most of all, where, you're laying back, right arm out, and, the women like to lay, on their side with their knees touched together. But if they want to change positions where they kind of go belly down, and they put their knee in between your legs. God, it's hard to do this while I'm sitting down. But when you're laying down and you want to put one leg higher up, they'll do that, and they'll knee you right in the balls. I mean, I could understand doing it once, like, oh, I'm sorry, like, just constantly getting hit in the balls while I'm cuddling. This is supposed to be nice and comfortable and comforting, and you're just hitting me in the balls. Over and over and over again. Hey, ladies, you know where your pussies are? In that same general area, that's where our spot is. Stop hitting me in the balls. I can't imagine I'm the only guy that deals with this. Because it's happened to me for years with more than one different woman. It happens all the time. It's insane. All right, so nothing that grinds my gears. I talk about this all the time with food not being ready when I get to the restaurant. And here's one of the reasons why. Because Uber does promotions sometimes where if you do a certain number of rides during this certain period, we'll give you this much extra money. So while I'm sitting there with my thumb up my ass, time is ticking, the clock is ticking on how many rides I can get done in this period of time. So the other day, if I did 8 rides in a 3-hour period, I would get like $16 extra, I think it was. So I had 1 ride left to go. And I got a short ride request to pick up from Windmill on 36 down in Long Branch. I walk in the front store, they're sweeping the floors. I tell them I'm here for Uber, for this name. And he goes, oh, the Big Ed burger, right? I go, yeah. He goes, I forgot about that. And I go, forgot about that meaning it's been sitting here a while or you haven't made it yet? He goes, I haven't made it yet. I went, fuck you. He goes, excuse me? I said, fuck you. And I stormed out of the store, canceled the order. I mean, I don't know how long a Big Ed burger takes, but like, you're sweeping the floor. How do you forget about to make an order? So then I ended up getting another request that was pretty far away. I get to the restaurant at 7:52. So now I have 8 minutes. And for this order, the order needs to be completed before the time ends. So I get there, they say it's going to be a couple minutes. And I go, by a couple minutes, do you mean 15 or do you mean 3? Because this particular store has fucked me over while I waited 20 minutes when they told me it'd be a couple. She goes, no, it'll be out in like 2-3 minutes. Okay, no problem. So I get the order at 7:57. I immediately text the guy. I said, hey, Uber's doing a promotion. I need to complete this order by before 8 o'clock. So I'm going to say that I completed the order, but your food won't be outside. I have your address. It'll be a couple minutes later. I just really want to complete this order so I can get this extra money. And he goes, yeah, no problem. Just ring the doorbell when you get here. Thank God I got a cool customer. So, I started driving 7:59. I hit complete the order and then, no problem. But like, fuck, just make the food. And another thing, lying about how long the food's going to take. When they say a couple minutes, but they really mean like 12 to 15. Just tell me how long it's going to take. If you tell me it's going to take 15 minutes and it takes 15 minutes, I'd rather it not take 15, but I'm not as upset. But if you say it's going to be a couple minutes and I'm sitting there for 15 minutes, it pisses me off. I'm going to check the camera real quick because I'm right at 16 minutes. Come on. Alright, the camera is blurry right now. And it doesn't seem to want to focus. I don't know how to fix this focus problem. There we go. Alright, I think it's focused now. I don't know, this fucking thing sucks. Alright. So speaking of food taking long, McDonald's is my favorite fucking place. I literally fell asleep on the floor at McDonald's the other day. Go to McDonald's. I mean, I have problems with all of them, but go to McDonald's, tell them who I'm here for. They say, all right, we'll get it ready. I go sit on the floor because I'm not allowed to sit at the tables. So I sit on the floor, I read an entire comic book. Not that that really takes a long time, but I read a whole comic book, and then I sit on the floor. I have my feet up, my knees like this, and I put my head between my legs, and I fell asleep. And whenever I go to McDonald's, I put a timer on. I want to see how long these fucking idiots take. So I got to my car with the food, 18 minutes I was in this McDonald's. I mean, who knows how long I was asleep for before they actually woke me up, but 18 minutes. The order was a Big Mac meal with a Coke. A Big Mac, fries, and a Coke. That's it. 18 minutes. That's insane. That's after I got there. Mind you that McDonald's and me get the order at the same time. So let's say it took me 8 minutes to drive there, plus 26 minutes to make a Big Mac. That's fucking crazy. Here's another one. I gotta call somebody out. I'm not gonna say him by name, but if he's watching, I don't know if he watches or not, but he's gonna know. So, me. I'm just gonna start with saying what kind of person I am. I like to be checked. I like to be challenged. And I like having discussions. I like being proved wrong. People these days don't want that. It's what I say goes and fuck off if you disagree. So somebody that I'm friends with posted on their Instagram the other day, all fact checkers smoke dick for breakfast. It's a funny line, but why is fact checking someone such a negative thing these days? Telling someone, oh, actually you're wrong, here's the truth. That's viewed as a bad thing these days. I don't get it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Don't belittle me. I mean, belittle me if you want. I belittle other people. I call people fucking idiots, but people are fucking idiots. If I'm wrong, correct me. Inform me. Let's have a discussion about it. Maybe you'll change my mind. Maybe I'll change yours. Maybe we'll come to somewhere in the middle. That doesn't exist anymore. I don't understand why fact-checking someone, whether it be the president, whether it be a friend, a family member, your neighbor, a stranger in a fucking 7-Eleven. I don't understand what, like, being wrong is not a bad thing, I don't think. I mean, I don't get it. And the fucking New York Jets. The fucking New York Jets. Oh, fuck. What are you doing? We just fucked ourselves for the next 10 years. We can't do anything right. Adam Gase, I hope you get Lou Gehrig's disease. I mean, Jesus Christmas, what the fuck are you doing? You are the most clueless person I've ever seen on a football field. You might be more clueless than Bowles, the guy we had last time. And that's saying a lot. The Jaguars have to win one of the last few games, and we have to lose out. Otherwise, we don't get Trevor Lawrence. And if we stick with Sam Darnold, I liked him at first, but he's just not it. I don't know if that's because we haven't gotten him the right playbook, the right tools around him as far as offensive line, wide receivers. He's not good. What's this? His third season in the league? He's not a good quarterback. I'm sorry. And I understand there's a lot of good quarterbacks in college, but Trevor Lawrence is the fucking guy. And we just threw him out the way to win a game. And nobody wanted to win. The Jets' social media pages are all posting like, oh, congrats on the big win. And the whole comment section is, fuck you, New York Jets. You fucked me again. All I've ever done was love you, and all you've ever done to me in return is hurt me. Every year. What a shit life being a Jet fan, and a Met fan, and a Ranger fan. My entire life, I've seen one sports championship. And I wasn't even a year old. New York Rangers 93-94. I was born 93. They won the cup in 94. So when is the Stanley Cup? Usually April. So I was, 7 months old. Fuck. The Jets have made me the alcoholic that I am. All right, so let's get into the vaccine talk. So I've been doing my research, like you guys like to say, and I saw some ingredients that's in this the COVID-19, the Pfizer vaccine, and it's pretty shocking when you actually look into what's into it and what those ingredients can do. So there's a whole bunch of ingredients. So I looked up all of them, but there was 4 specifically that were really really troublesome to me that I looked up. So one of them is aspartic acid. Yeah, aspartic acid, which according to WebMD is deemed unsafe for children and has been linked to brain defects in children. Aspartic acid. The next, these are all, medical terms for this kind of shit, so forgive me if I pronounce them incorrectly. The other one is phenylalanine. Phenylalanine. According to WebMD, can increase symptoms of schizophrenia. If you are a predisposed schizophrenic and you haven't shown symptoms yet, this phenylalanine can increase those and bring those symptoms out. And if you already have schizophrenia, this stuff will make it worse. This is the worst one. The next one. Methionine. I think I pronounced that correct. Methionine. When taking too much of it, it causes brain damage and death. Methionine, when you take too much of it, causes brain damage and death. It can cause acidosis. It can cause atherosclerosis, which is the hardening of the arteries, and it leads to liver disease. Methionine. This is all according to WebMD. And the last one that I pointed out here was phytosterols. Phytosterols increases your risk of heart attack. And not only that, if you recover from the heart attack, there's so much damage done to your heart that your risk of having another one is heavily increased. So we got aspartic acid, phenylalanine, methionine, and phytosterols. This is all in the COVID vaccine. Unsafe for children, brain defects, schizophrenia, brain damage, death, acidosis, hardened arteries, liver disease, heart attacks. All stuff in the COVID vaccine. Oh wait, was that the... Oh wait, no, that's not the COVID vaccine. That's what's in a fucking banana. If you look up the ingredients to a banana, all those things are in there. And if you Google all those things and go to WebMD, all those things that I said are actually listed on WebMD. Swear to God. A banana. So all you fucking idiots saying, oh, I don't know what's in the COVID vaccine. Do your research. Derp, derp, derp. Look up the ingredients to a banana, Google those ingredients, and then click risks on the WebMD page. The risks of these things that are in a banana. Oh, if you wouldn't ingest it, why would you inject it into your... If you wouldn't eat it, why would you inject it into your veins? Because a doctor that studies this shit says it's okay. I bet everybody watching, everybody that says no to COVID vaccines has eaten a banana. And those are your risks from these things that are in bananas. Aspartic acid, phenylalanine, methionine, phytosterols. Shut the fuck up and take a vaccine when it's available to you. And as far as those two videos that are making their way across the internet, the one girl that took a COVID vaccine and passed out, and the other dude who definitely was not injected of anything, eat shit, first of all. From what I read, there's been about 60,000 doses administered thus far. And all you fucking morons are focusing on the two videos. And what's funny is those people are, for the most part, all the same people that are like, why are we shutting down with something that's got a 99.9987 survival rate? But you focus on the 0.00003% of vaccine doses that look weird. Talk about an overreaction. What a bunch of fucking pussies. I mean, you guys call us pussies and clowns for being afraid of a virus that the doctors say is, one, dangerous, two, kills, whether you like to say 99.97, it's actually closer to 3% death rate. We're pussies for being afraid of that virus, but you're afraid of a vaccine that has maybe, if anything, 0.00003% of doses go haywire. Now, if you actually do your research, like you fucking cucks out there that say, oh, do your research. If you actually do your research on those videos, The one woman who passed out after getting the vaccine passes out often. She has a medical condition that causes her to pass out. Christ's sake. Now, I will give you that one video of that guy that he definitely wasn't injected by anything. That one was weird. I'll give you that for sure. And another thing about the vaccine, I see a lot of people saying like, oh, I won't take it unless I see the politicians take it first. There's videos of Biden taking it. There's videos of Netanyahu taking it. And what do you guys say? Oh, that's saline. How do we know that that's actually the vaccine? So you won't take it if Biden does it on video because you're afraid. Just admit you're a pussy and you're afraid to take a vaccine that doctors and scientists that have spent the last 9 months day in, day out studying. I know people that got the first shot back in August. 4 months after testing started, she got a shot, no symptoms. No side effects. She's been getting monitored for the trials. Karen just got vaccinated. She didn't pass out. She didn't die. She didn't get Bell's palsy. You guys are fucking losers. Take the fucking vaccine. Grow a set of balls. Oh, you're afraid of a virus. You're afraid of a shot. I guarantee, I don't know the actual numbers. I guarantee more people have died from viruses than vaccines. Who's the real pussy? All right, let's get into some nerd stuff. Let's get on a lighter mood here. Season finale of Mandalorian. There's going to be some spoilers here. So if you want to fast forward a few minutes, I'm going to check the camera first. All right, hopefully that last 15 minutes actually focused because it seemed blurry before I started it. So, Mandalorian. Awesome season finale. Loved it. Great season. I can't wait for the next one. Now, here's where the spoilers come. So at the end of the episode, Luke Skywalker shows up, saves the day, takes Baby Yoda. I guess he's going to train him. So, I didn't like the CGI. I didn't like the way Mark Hamill's face looked on that body. It didn't look good. And I'm not saying they should have recast him, but fuck, it looks so bad. I don't know who did it, but they definitely should have hired the person that put Robert De Niro's face on that younger body in The Irishman, because that looked fucking incredible. And now what happens to Baby Yoda? Because let's be honest, The Mandalorian was fucking awesome for a lot of reasons, but its popularity, I feel like, was mainly because of Baby Yoda. If Baby Yoda's not in it, I'm willing to bet something like 40% of its viewership won't watch anymore. So if Luke took Baby Yoda, Grogu, whatever you want to call him, what happens next for Mando? I love that they announced a Boba Fett show. That's fucking awesome. The guy who played Boba Fett in the original Star Wars trilogy passed away. I don't remember if I touched on that last week, so rest in peace to him. And I thought it was pretty fucking cool how the actor that played Jango Fett in the prequels came back to be the actor for Boba Fett. I don't know. I liked it. I thought it worked. But I'm just excited for all the nerd stuff that I spoke about last week. Just, if I'm gonna be honest, Disney and all of its announcements made last week or 2 weeks ago, it's really keeping me going. I am struggling hardcore lately. Life is kicking me right in the balls. And knowing that I have all this stuff to look forward to, even though it's, it's fantasy, it's fake, it's, comic book stuff and children type stuff, with a Buzz Lightyear movie, a Moana show. I'm excited about it. And it's one of the reasons that it's something that's keeping me going. I have something to look forward to, and I thank Disney for that. So thank you. But one of the things that a lot of people, that's been a big argument as of late is, not really argument, but more discussion of Black Panther. So it has been not necessarily announced, but it has been rumored that they won't recast. They won't recast Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther. They are going to have his sister Shuri, Letitia Wright, take over as the Black Panther role. Now, I have never read any of the Marvel comics, just because they haven't been available to me. But now that I found a Marvel app, Marvel Unlimited, I think it's called, that has all the, Marvel Unlimited. They have the comics on the phone, similar to the DC Universe app. So I'm going to get on that. But apparently in the comics, Shuri does eventually take over as Black Panther. So that's pretty fucking cool. But a lot of people, we should recast them. We didn't see enough of Black Panther. It's not fair to the young black boys, and they don't get their superhero. And I've seen people say that they recast Captain America. That's not at all what happened if you watch the MCU. Captain America made a decision to go back in time and then not go back forward to live out his life. And then he gave Captain America or at least the shield to Falcon. So no, he was not recast in the movies. He was given to somebody else. So I saw something on Facebook, and I'll just read it first and then I'll give my response. This is fine, but T'Challa should be recast. I've seen 7 white guys play Batman, 5 white guys play Superman in my life. Heath Ledger passed after getting an Oscar for the Joker, and the character has been played by 2 actors since. Black Panther deserves to live on as well. So, a couple things there. One, this type of mindset is the reason that we can't move forward as a society. And I've talked about this before on the podcast. We play a huge part in dividing ourselves. Now, you can turn this into a racial issue, or you can look at it logically from the standpoint of all of those things that he mentioned. So 7 white guys play Batman. It's not all the same story. They remake the movies years later, years apart from each other, a new trilogy with a completely new cast, a completely new Batman, and new villains. I don't know much about Superman. I fucking hate Superman. I've never seen any of the Superman movies. But when you look at Marvel, the way they've done their movies, all of their movies connect from Iron Man 1 in 2008 to Endgame and Spider-Man Far From Home in 2019, to Black Widow that's coming out, to the next Guardians of the Galaxy, to the next Thor, to the next Spider-Man. It's all the same story. It's within the same universe. DC Comics, which are all those that you mentioned, the Joker, Batman, Superman, it's all DC. They have, up until recently, they have not connected all of their stories and all of their movies together. Had Heath Ledger been a part of a giant movie universe like Chadwick Boseman was, and he died, I guarantee you they would not have recast the Joker in that universe. They would have moved on. Guaranteed. Now that DC has started to mold their movies together, between Justice League and Aquaman and the Wonder Woman movies, they're all kind of connecting together, like the MCU is doing. If Jason Momoa died tomorrow, they would not recast another Aquaman and they would do something else. They would find a way to kill him off screen, and they'd figure something else out. I guarantee it. It's not because Chadwick Boseman is black. It's not. Stop making things racial when they don't need to be. It's horseshit. Stop. Now, if they were to make a new universe or just a side movie, another movie, like Deadpool, that's a Marvel movie, not connected to the MCU. If they just made a separate, different Black Panther movie out of nowhere, they could recast. But in the grand scheme, it's stupid to like. Here's an example I love to use: Fresh Prince. When they had their little negotiations, whatever, go awry with the first Aunt Viv, and they brought in another one without even making a mention of it, it was fucking stupid. It's stupid. So stop trying to make it racial. Stop trying to divide everybody along these racial lines, and look at it logically from the point of view of all those white guys that played Batman and Superman and the Joker. They were in a completely different position in the movie making universe, as Marvel has done such a good fucking job at connecting their movies that a lot of people don't want it recast because it wouldn't make sense. Because so much shit has happened in the comics over the last 60 years since Black Panther has been out that they can make a story to make it make sense in the universe. And I guarantee they would do the same thing with any of the other actors. Even if one of the actors had some sort of contract dispute and he didn't want to come in, they could kill him off screen, no problem. Any of them. Guaranteed. And also, Black Panther is not connected directly to T'Challa. T'Challa becomes Black Panther. He's the most well-known Black Panther, but Black Panther is whoever is king of Wakanda. T'Challa's dad, T'Chaka, was Black Panther. Shuri, apparently, in the comics, has been Black Panther. Killmonger. Njadaka, I think his name was in the movie. I forget, but I know him as Killmonger. Michael B. Jordan's character. He was Black Panther in the movie. When you become King of Wakanda, they give you the powers of the Black Panther. So Black Panther lives on. It'll just be a different character of Wakanda. Learn your fucking comics, dork. So I want to get back to Curt Schilling, because Curt Schilling, my rant about him, I put on Facebook and I got banned for a week because I called Curt Schilling a fucking mongoloid, which he is. But why is I'm sick of getting banned from shit for calling people bad names. Talk about being a fucking pussy. Curt Schilling calling this generation pussies. I get banned from Facebook because I called you a bad word. I got banned for life from Twitter because I called a woman the C word. And she was being a C word, if I'm being honest. Fucking A, man. God, fuck Curt Schilling. But speaking of Curt Schilling, let's get into some sports. I'm going to check the camera real quick. I don't remember what time did I check it at. Fuck it, I'll wait for the beep. Canelo. Oh, my Lord. He beat that boy up. Now, I don't pay as close attention to boxing, so I'd never heard of this Caleb Smith dude. But he didn't look good. I've never seen any of his fights, but he did not look like he deserved to be in that ring with Canelo. It looked like a complete mismatch, and I understand that this Caleb Smith guy was a champion, but he didn't look like a boxer. I don't know, like the way he was throwing punches and like getting in and getting out and working on his range, it didn't look like a world champion. It didn't even look like a professional boxer, let alone a world champion. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but it just didn't look right. Not to say that it was fixed or anything. I just think Canelo's that fucking good that this guy was like terrified, which I get because he is terrifying. But I mean, what's next for him? Billy Joe Saunders? I saw a lot of people talking about that. What's so crazy about boxing is I see people really giving, and he deserves credit, but people are giving Canelo a lot of credit because he fought at 154 at one point. Now, I don't know the intricacies of his boxing career. Is the camera even on right now? It might even be off. Sorry, I gotta change the battery. So, I don't know the ins and outs of Canelo's career, but I may or may not be wrong, but I know when he fought Floyd at 54. I don't know if that was his only fight at 54. But as far as I know, he's fought a majority of his career at 60, which is where Triple G fights. And Triple G also fought this week. And looked great, defended his title again. And they've had 2 fights. The first one was horse shit. That draw was bullshit. Canelo lost that fight. Triple G won that fight for sure. That was the Adelaide Bird nonsense. I want to see that trilogy fight. But I also see people talking about Spence. I see people talking about Crawford. I thought Crawford fought lower. Because the weights in boxing, they're so close together. They're so different. I don't really know the ins and outs of the weight classes and who's where and all that stuff. Alright, we're back on camera. Sorry about that. So, if Canelo's fighting, I'm watching, is essentially what I'm saying. But speaking of boxing, Jake Paul, I think he has his next opponent. So there's reports today that came out that... Oh, this camera looks like it's off center here. Fuck. No, that's alright. So there's reports that he offered Dylan Dennis a fuckload of money, and Dylan Dennis turned it down because he's got an injury of some sort. I've been very critical of Jake Paul and the way he boxes. I don't think he looks very good when he boxes. But I do think he beats Dylan Dennis in a boxing fight, if I'm being honest. Dylan Dennis doesn't have great striking, but he is a professional fighter, so he's got to have some merit. But those reports that Jake Paul and Ben Askren are agreed to a fight. Now, same thing. Ben Askren, world-class athlete, Olympic wrestler, multi-organizational mixed martial arts champion. Because of his wrestling, not because of his boxing. I mean, I've talked about his boxing in the past. It's real bad. His stand-up against Damian Maia proved that. I think Jake Paul beats him. And that's going to look real bad for the MMA world. But what I most want to see happen now, there are reports that Michael Bisping is in talks with Jake Paul for a boxing fight. Now, that I would love to see for more than one reason. One, I love Michael Bisping. 2, Michael Bisping can talk shit, as can Jake Paul. Those press conferences are going to be fun. 3, they're similar in size. You know, Jake Paul's last fight, he weighed in at 189. Michael Bisping fought at 185. Fought at 205. Won the Ultimate Fighter at 205. So they're closer in size, but Michael Bisping is also a striker. So if they were to fight, Michael Bisping would hurt him. And I would really like to see that. Would really like to see that. Let's get into some MMA. What's his name? Ariel Helwani said the other day, up until today, there was zero UFC title fights booked. Now, there's been a number of them announced. This guy's going to fight this guy, but no official dates yet, up until today. Today they announced that Amanda Nunes will be fighting Megan Anderson for the women's featherweight title. They announced the date, I think it was sometime in March. But if we look at the champions, Davidson Figueiredo, he just fought against Brandon Moreno. But it's looking like they're going to rematch. Which I'm usually not for a challenger getting an immediate rematch, but that division, the third ranked guy in the division is Askar Askarov. The 7th ranked guy, Rogerio Bontorin. Joseph Benavidez fought Figueiredo twice, lost twice. He just beat Alex Perez, ranked 4th. Pantoja ranked 5. I don't know much about his recent fight, so I think in this instance I'm for an immediate rematch. And then we look at bantamweight. Peter Yan is supposed to be fighting Aljamain Sterling. That's not booked. They announced the other day they're working on Alexander Volkanovski versus Brian Ortega, but not official. Who knows what's going on with lightweight with Khabib? Is he coming back? Is he not? Is Conor versus Poirier going to be a title fight? Even an interim one. They announced today Dan Hooker versus Michael Chandler will be happening. Charles Oliveira, after winning his 8th in a row, beating Tony Ferguson, he's got to be up there. Tony Ferguson is now ranked 5th. Who knows? Speaking of lightweights, though, Anthony Pettis announced a couple hours ago that he is no longer with the UFC. His part of ways with the UFC. He wants to test free agency. So I don't know if that means he's only going to sign with somebody else, because I imagine the UFC made him an offer. Because his last fight this weekend, he fought the last fight in his contract. So who knows? I don't know entirely what that means, but he posted this long letter about how he's thanking the UFC for all the memories, this and that, blah blah blah. But if that is true, thank you, Anthony Pettis. You had a great career. Loved watching your fights, especially your title fights. Your finish against Gilbert Melendez was fucking insane. I loved it, and how you won the title. Armbar over Benson Henderson. Then we look at welterweight. Kamaru Usman, Gilbert Burns. Again, not officially booked. Middleweight, Israel Adesanya is supposed to go up to light heavyweight and fight Jan Blachowicz. That's not official yet. Heavyweight, Stipe Miocic is supposed to defend against Francis Ngannou or John Jones because he's up there. That's not booked. Women's strawweight, Weili Zhang is supposed to fight Rose Namajunas. Dana White came out and said that Rose doesn't want the fight. Rose came out and said that she does want the fight, so that's all up in there. Women's flyweight, Valentina Shevchenko. She just fought, relatively recently against Jennifer Maia. But you got, I don't even know who they're planning to give it against, but I know Lauren Murphy's been chirping about jumping in the cage with a lion. And then women's bantamweight, Amanda Nunes, who's fighting her at bantamweight. No idea there. And they just announced that she's fighting Megan Anderson today. So Amanda Nunes versus Megan Anderson is the only UFC title fight currently officially booked. That's crazy. To me, at least. Now let's look at last week's card. It was Wonderboy Thompson versus Jeff Neal. And you know what? Somebody needs to stop letting me bet on fights. I had one good week where I won like 6 bets, and since then, every fight I bet on fucking loses. I mean, Jillian Robertson. Most finishes in women's UFC history. Thought that was easy. She got beat the fuck up. Deron Wynn, 5'6", can't make 185 pounds. Whoa, hold on. I'm on. Deron Wynn tested positive for amphetamines after losing to Gerald Meerschaert? Holy shit. Whoa. Yeah, I don't like that guy. And then Sajara Eubanks lost. I had her. I was going to bet on Anthony Pettis, but I was like, nah, I don't like him at welterweight. He doesn't look good, blah, blah, blah. But he won. And I'm happy for him. I like Anthony Pettis. I've always liked Anthony Pettis. And he actually had a 6-pack at welterweight, which has never happened for him. He usually looks a little chubby. But he did knock out Wonder Boy, so I can't really say that he looks bad at welterweight. I just don't like the way he looks. Because up until he landed that punch against Wonder Boy, he was getting pieced the fuck up. I thought he lost the fight against Cowboy. He thought he lost the fight against Cowboy. And then who else did he fight at welterweight? Did he fight Nate Diaz at welterweight, right? Yeah, and then he went back down, Carlos Diego Fajeda, and then back up to welterweight. But he said he wants to go back to 55. After the fight, he's like, I want to run it back with Tony Ferguson. And then now he leaves the UFC. I think that would have been a perfect fight for him to go back down. But I like the guy. Wow, they updated his Wikipedia real quick. He is currently a free agent. Wow. Beers galore. But Greg Hardy finally got his ass whooped. But he also did some ass whooping. He beat the fuck out of Marcin Tybura in that first round. Beat his fucking ass. That fight could have been stopped at one point in that first round. I would not have been upset about it. He must have thrown 8, 9, 12 right hands in a row. All of them landed square on Tybura's face, and he did nothing to move his head. But Greg Hardy obviously showed a big weakness. His ground game. He got down to the ground, and he was lost. Now, for all you cucks out there who think that you can take on a professional fighter, watch that fight. You might land some punches. You might land some punches and do decent on the feet, but we can get you to the ground. And then it's a shark amongst minnows. I mean, that right there shows that you can't play with this shit. You might do well here and there like Greg Hardy has been doing, but once you get a real bad motherfucker, you're done. You go to the ground, you're done. All you fucking dopes out there that think you can just step in and fight anybody with no formal training, that's the fight for you to watch. And then Marlon Moraes. I mean, that's essentially 4 in a row. I mean, yeah, technically you won the fight against Jose Aldo, but you lost that fight, let's be real. But Rob Font, holy shit. I don't know if you're just real powerful or Marlon's head is just not fully recovered from getting wheel kicked. I mean, holy shit. When did he get wheel kicked? Oh, that was October. That was only 2 months ago. Yeah, he shouldn't have fought. Yeah, that was a bad move by Marlon. But I thought, going 1-2. Guess technically losing 3. I thought he was going to come out like a bat out of hell and just beat the fuck out of Rob Font. And I was wrong, and I lost money about it. And I'm sad. And then the next fight, Michelle, however you pronounce it, Pereira versus Chaos Williams. What a snooze fest. Chaos Williams looked scared. He looked hesitant. He looked tentative. He jumped. Like, his hands were like, at every feint that Michelle Pereira threw. I mean, if you look at the striking numbers, Chaos landed way more strikes. But he was just on the back foot and he looked scared. I don't know. Another one I lost money on. Michelle Pereira, when he doesn't do that stupid backflip and jumping off the cage and this and that, I don't want to say he's a super technical fighter, but he's a fucking good fighter. Like, how many in a row has he won now? He's won 2 in a row. In his last 2 fights, he hasn't done that stupid fucking backflip shit. When he focuses and keeps the task at hand and doesn't be a fucking doofus, he does well. And then Jose Aldo back in the winning column. That was awesome for me. I think Jose Aldo is the most underappreciated legend there's ever been. I mean, Conor ruined his legacy with one punch. But I mean, even before Conor, people just didn't appreciate Jose Aldo. For the most part. I always appreciate him. I thought Conor was going to beat him, but I always loved watching him. A fucking animal. Now, I don't know exactly what happened, but over the last number of years, he stopped throwing leg kicks. Watch his fight against Uriah Faber. Oh, my God. The worst leg kick beating there's ever been. But he did throw some leg kicks, which was good to see. Vintage Jose Aldo. And man, when he can throw his combos together, attack the body, finish on the legs, look what happens. I don't know what has happened. I mean, probably just years of throwing leg kicks, getting checked. His knees are probably fucked from, grappling and trying to avoid getting taken down because he's got crazy good takedown defense. It was good to see. He's a bad motherfucker. And he called out TJ Dillashaw afterwards. I am in. Rob Font also called him out, but I definitely wanted Jose Aldo. But then TJ Dillashaw's like, oh, everyone's calling me out because everyone knows that I'm the real champion. No, they want to kick the shit out of you because you're a cheater. That's hands down what it is. That's it. And then Stephen Thompson pieced up Jeff Neal pretty handily, won all 5 rounds. And then Jeff Neal went on the excuse train. Oh, my shoulder hurt, and I was in the hospital 4 months ago, and I got COVID at one point, and it was so tiring. I hate when people say, I'm not making excuses, and then make a bunch of excuses. Jeff Neal, cut the shit. Stephen Thompson just beat you that night. Accept it. Keep your fucking, I was in the hospital 4 months ago. Keep that to yourself. Keep your I got COVID to yourself. We don't fucking care. You lost. Just say it. All right, so Merry Christmas, first of all. I will be away this week. I will be in Disney World for Christmas, and I'm kind of on the fence about it, because at the beginning of the pandemic, I was very pro stay home, it could save lives, and don't go places you don't need to, and so I kind of feel like a hypocrite in that sense, but I don't think changing your mind on something that you once thought, like I said earlier, being fact-checked, changing your mind, getting new information, and I've been talking about it for a couple weeks now, that I'm over it. I don't fucking care. Let everybody die. Fuck all of you. But another reason that I'm on the fence about it is because I don't like being the reason that somebody has to work a holiday. I used to fucking berate my mom and sister because they used to go out on Thanksgiving night for Black Friday. And now all those retail workers that are out at Best Buy making $12 an hour or probably even less because some dopes want to buy a $200 TV and they can't spend Thanksgiving with their family. That used to really piss me off. And I mean, it still does. And now I'm going to Disney on Christmas Day, the week of Christmas. And I mean, there could be Jewish people working that day, or they probably are getting overtime pay, or they want to be there. I feel like a dick being the reason that somebody has to work on Christmas. I mean, they would have worked regardless whether I'm there or not, I get it, but now it's my fault, and I feel like a dick. But I also love Disney World. Oh, did it really shut off there? I heard a beep. I'm almost done here, you fucker. Only a couple minutes left. So I don't like being the reason that somebody has to work on a holiday. It makes me feel like a dick. But I also love Disney World, and but I feel like I'm gonna be sad having to wear a mask in Disney World, and I can't go to different parks. I can only go to one park a day, and I'm questioning it. I'm still gonna go, obviously, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I'll let you guys know next episode I do when I get back how I feel about it. But one last bit of advice for all you gentlemen out there. I found the secret recipe to getting what you want from your woman. Do the fucking dishes without being asked to do the dishes. Just do them. Because your girl knows what you want, what you like. She knows. Guarantee it. And if she comes home from work one day and her dishes have been done, and you cleaned up a little bit around the living room and the bedroom, I'm telling you guys, the secret ingredient, the secret recipe to success is do your girlfriend's dishes. Dicks out for Harambe, fuck Kurt Schilling, take a vaccine. Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.